Today we're going to review the basic rules of probability. So what is probability and where have you probably heard it before? So probability is just the chance that something will happen. And probability is all around us and we use it all the time. If you ever watch the news or the weather and it's saying there's a 50% chance it's going to rain tomorrow, that's a probability. If you do a coin toss to make a decision or play rock, paper, scissors, that is a probability. There is specific chance based on the number of outcomes, like who's going to win. Probability gets used a lot in sports and in card games or games in general to know what your options are and to make better informed decisions. So how do I find probability? This is just our most basic probability. The definition is that your probability is your number of favorable outcomes divided by the number of all possible outcomes. And I simplify this as probability equals half divided by total. It's just easier for me to remember. So let's say I want to find the probability of getting this orange piece here. So I would say probability, and I can shorten this by say probability, P parentheses, orange. This is my event. This is what I am looking for. This is what I am interested in finding out more about. Now the number of all favorable outcomes. How many times, this is the number of times there is an orange appears over the total number of pieces. For this one, this example is pretty easy to look at, but sometimes when it gets more complicated, it's nice to write out exactly what you're looking for. So the probability of orange is equal to 1 over 8. And that's it. That's all I have to do to find the probability. Let's say I want to find the probability of an even number. So an even number is 2, 4, 6, and 8. So the number of favorable outcomes is the number of even numbers divided by the total numbers. So the probability of even is 4 over 8. I'm going to simplify here 1 over 2. And because I know that decimal, I'm just going to go ahead and put that 2. All of these are correct. So thinking about some of these probability rules, there's this idea of the law of large numbers. And that basically means that the more trials that you do, the more attempts that you do, the closer to the true average you will be. So let's think about these heads and tails. If I flip a coin, I have two outcomes. I can get heads or I can get tails. So if I want to say what is the probability of getting heads, I know that's going to be 1 over 2. My event of getting heads, the total number of possible events. So 1 over 2. Well, let's say I'm flipping the coin and I get tails, 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 tails. What do you think the next one is going to be? Some people think the next one has to be heads because you already had so many tails that the next one, it's going to change. The next one's going to change. And it might, but there's no rule or law that says that is actually going to happen. because coins have no memory. They don't know what you did before. They don't know that you got 5 tails in a row. Every individual toss is separate. So what happened before does not influence what is going to happen on the next toss, because coins don't know what happened. It is true that even if you get like this example, they got a heads and a tails, heads, tails, tails, heads, tails, tails, tails. Eventually, over time, it will even out, because that's because you have so many pieces of data to choose from. Like here we have only 10. We only have 10 trials, but here we have 500. Over the course of 500 trials, it is going to even out to be about 50% heads and 50% tails. This is called the law of large numbers. It is going to reach its true probability the more often that you do it. So let's think of one last example. What is the probability of getting 1? So I know on a dice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's the probability of getting 1? 1 over 6. What's the probability of getting even? So even would be 2, 4, 6. So that's 3 over 6, 1/2. What is the probability of getting a number greater than 4? So greater than 4 would be 5 and 6. So I have 5 and 6 out of 6. So 2 over 6, 1 over 3. What is the probability of getting a number less than 2? Our probability here is only 1 out of 6 because there's only one number that is less than 2. So hopefully you have a better understanding of basic probability. Just remember that we want to use this form, like P, probability of this event, this event, this event. And it's going to be how many times that event shows up over how many events there are possible.